How's everybody doing today? You've tuned in to another episode of the Kyle Hartman Project. We are on episode 16, and I'm with my good friend Jordan Ogren. He is from Green Bay, Wisconsin. He goes by the name Backpackboybeats. And I've met Jordan through various social media channels. It all goes back to this Twitter fam that I've brought up numerous times on my podcast. It's basically just a group of people that we have on Twitter that are out just tackling life, hustling, getting theirs, and it's super exciting to be able to acquaint myself with a lot of these people. And so I want to get an introduction out there. Jordan, it is a pleasure to have you on the Kyle Hartman Project. I want to just bring value to everybody that listens to us today, and I think that you are somebody that inspires me. For anybody that doesn't know, Jordan is a full-time student, but he is also pursuing many, many things on the outside. So Jordan, thanks for thanks for coming on my show. And I want to let you have the floor right away to talk to anybody, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate this opportunity to be on it.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed listening to your previous one, so I was like, I knew I had to get on. I knew I had things to not really tell, but maybe talk about. So,
share, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you covered it very well. I mean, I'm Backpackboybeats, Jordan Ogren. I love music. I love people. I guess that's where it all starts.
That's good.
It starts at that.
How old are you right now?
I am 22.
22 years old. So you're actually my second youngest guest on my show.
Nice.
What are you doing in school? You're a college student full-time, correct?
Yeah, I think like 16 credits, 17, somewhere around there.
And you are making music? Are you producing it?
So for school, I am in like digital media technology. So like that kind of is pretty bland. Like it's kind of like everything. So one of my classes right now is IB, Internet Broadcasting, and we had to make our own podcast.
Okay.
So like it's pretty much doing everything I do already, but like learning skills or like learning different ways to look at it. And then I just apply that to what I do. But the music, like producing, I learned that all by myself through like this one paid program and then just watching tons of YouTube videos.
The cell phone, the power of the internet.
Honestly.
That's what I tell everybody. That's how I've been able to get to where I am with the podcast. I literally just self-taught and just networked with people that were doing it. And one reason I pointed out that you were a full-time student, and I think this is good for a lot of people listening, because a lot of our followers, a lot of our peers are all right around the same age group of, either they're already out of school or they're going through school or they might be going to school soon. And I just want to point out that Jordan is a huge inspiration to me, being that he's a full-time student, because of how hard he works still. And I know for myself, I have a full-time job. However, I don't have to go home and do homework and study for exams and do things that actually take up more time. So in my opinion, a full-time college student is actually a little bit more busy probably than somebody who just has a 40-hour-a-week job. And so how does that affect you as far as what kind of things, if somebody out there is listening right now, Jordan, and they're in school and they have something that they really know they want to go after, what did you kind of have to do in your head and in your habits and in your daily routines to be able to make school and entrepreneurship and production sort of your thing all at once?
Yeah, so it definitely was not something that like I started school. So I have an associate in liberal arts. So like that kind of starts my whole journey of like not doing what I wanted, and now I'm doing exactly what I want. But like it didn't start fully like, man, I'm doing school and doing the hustle 100%. Like it definitely was like school, and then if I got time for the hustle, and then like I realized, which I think a lot of people in school, if you're going for what you're like, so like I'm going for digital media technology, so that's kind of what I want.
It plays into what you're already doing.
Exactly, but a lot of people are going for like things that are not completely what they want, or like maybe it's like something that'll help for their passion. But like a lot of people don't realize that like for right now, personally, I take a lot of L's in school, as in like if there's like an assignment that's very like low points or like different things, like I can understand where it's like, yeah, if I don't do this, but then like make my podcast instead, that's on my own time. Like that's the thing a lot of people don't do, is they'll be like, oh, I can't like work on my art because it's school, and then like you see what they're doing in school, and it's like, well, if you're passing, like you could probably not do this or that. The thing is, a lot of people don't want to sacrifice with it,
right?
And that's like The only time I've seen like big gains is when I've sacrificed, whether that's been friends, like cutting off friends that just want to party or do things that don't align with my path, you know. But
Yes.
I'd say just really learn self-awareness to be able to like step out, because like there'll be times when you have this assignment due and you told all your followers you were dropping this on this time, and it's like I don't know what I'll be able to do. You just have to like step out and be like, well, what's more important, or and sometimes it might be I need that degree, but for me, what's more important right now is that hustle, backpack boy, and everything like that. So I've been able to not put school second really, but definitely prioritize where it's like backpack boy is forever, where like school is just like for a little bit. So
That's
how I see it.
That's really good that you said, that it all just didn't happen at once. I was hoping that you were kind of going to dig into that, because people have to understand, I think people have to understand how much of a process really becoming your passion is, I think. And so it's good that you hinted that, maybe sometimes everybody might not be in school for exactly what they hope and dream to be someday. And so it's good for people to start opening eyes and kind of exploring. Hopefully, by listening to this podcast and hearing you, they'll be able to kind of sift through some of that stuff and figure it out for themselves. But I love the fact that you said you have to make sacrifices. I think that is one of the most, if not the most important things to becoming a success in whatever it is that you visualize yourself doing. So when you said you had to cut certain friends out or whatever the case may be, I completely related to that, because the path that I'm trying to go down is becoming very difficult in the same aspect of I'm losing a lot of my peers because they're still stuck in high school, or they're still stuck drinking every weekend and partying, and it's just, that does not work for what I'm trying to do.
Definitely. I feel you. Same way.
Well, one thing I forgot to mention, by the way, everybody, the music you're hearing on this podcast and probably my next couple podcasts are all going to be beats from Jordan, from Backpackboybeats. We're going to be sharing all of his information on this episode, but I did just want to point that out just in case you guys heard it and liked it. Jordan, what's your system for the beats? Let's talk a little bit more about that. You said you were into people. Where did this all start?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool because like everything, like there isn't like it all kind of like origins from one point. Like this whole so I had been writing, I'd say, poetry for like 2 years before high school was done, because like I'd say my sophomore year in high school, like I was super like, my family is kind of like, my oldest brother's very bipolar, and then my middle brother's like kind of like cool, not cool as bipolar's not cool, but just like he's
right.
Super like nothing gets to him, like he's like what I would want to be.
Gotcha.
But I know that like the genes of our family definitely skip that, where it's like me and my oldest are more alike.
Okay.
So like regardless of how I want it or not, like I understand that I'm a more emotional person. So that was where kind of like I was battling in high school, because like you're a dude, you're not supposed to be feeling this or that, like you're way too emotional, stick to sports, let's go play football. Like, so it was tough for me, and I really hit like a depression point for that, and then writing poetry, and then that eventually led to like hip hop rap.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where like the whole like music started. And then I had been going to school, like I mentioned, and my first semester was just really bad. I think I got like one passing class because it wasn't what I was enjoying to do. So then I took a semester off, which was like kind of the best thing I've ever done, which I would definitely suggest to anybody that's just going through it. Like, just like, I'm going to get my degree. It's like, first just take like a semester off, because I promise in that semester or whatever time it is, you'll see, or, if you're really, trying to find what do I want to do or where do I want to go, because I see a lot of people just going through it. But that's a side note. So then I was living at my grandma's with my brother, the oldest one, because he like had a kid and he was just going through like a real mental breakdown, and he was living at my grandma's house. But my grandma was in Minneapolis, because that's where my other family lives, and she lives with them and takes care of their children. So he was there by himself.
Got you.
And this was my semester off. So I was like, hey, I can go over there and try to like, help them, get them like in routines, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I had been making music. Like now I got like FL Studio, I got like a mic, everything. So I was like, this would be cool to go to my grandma's. I can make a studio. He can help me, and it was cool because like I definitely got work habits from it. Like because I
Got
would
you.
come
Yeah.
home from work, and he was pretty dependent. Like I would have to be there making sure this isn't going on. And like through that, I lost like I'd say like I was pretty popular in high school, but like through that I really like saw like wow, that person hasn't hit me up for this whole time, or like they don't care now because I'm not going to the parties or I'm not at this spot, because I wouldn't really leave my grandma's house ever because I didn't really want to leave him alone unless I was working.
Right.
And then
You were
like
working.
some crazy what's up?
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I said, and then you were also working at the house too on your beats.
Yeah. So like I worked as a lifeguard. So like I worked from like 10 till 3:30. Then I would come home, and this is where I first early got into like schedules. I would have like 5 to 7. I would record 7 to 9. I would mix those vocals. 9 to 11. I would push that song. Like I got into that very routine, and that's something that I learned for like bipolar people and just like kind of emotionally unstable. Like it's very good to just get a routine. Like not every single day, same thing, but like not where you're just like, what do I want to do next? Instead of
Right.
looking at your thing and being like, yo, I got this next. Well, one day, like my brother, he had been eventually just getting like worse and worse there because I'm not a therapist, and that was a quick thing that was like, you're good with people, you love them, but you can't change them.
Right.
And he started going down like getting bad, and then one day he just like texted me when I was at work. I don't usually look at my phone when I'm lifeguarding, but and I looked at it, and he was just like, yo, like thanks for everything you did, like it was really nice having you here, but like I just can't do this anymore, I'm gonna kill myself. And I had like 2 hours left of my shift, and as a lifeguard, maybe if you work other places you can leave, but
Right.
like I was the only one looking at these people in the water, so like it would have been like a scene for me to leave. So I was just like, so for 2 hours I had to like just kind of be like, I have no clue what's happening. And then I went home, and like I went upstairs to where we like stayed, and he was on the ladder with like the rope around his neck, and like just being on that ladder with him, like and like just like hugging him and being like, dude, it's gonna be okay, like get down from this, like you have so much more. Like it's so interesting that you have to tell someone that for yourself to be like, wow, that's like really true. Like
Right.
I do have more to live for myself, because like the way I had been living was very materialistic, parties, relationships that weren't actually like doing anything. It was just for other things, and it was like in that moment everything that was like fake, like just like you can't look at your brother when he's going to kill himself in the eye and be like, oh, what's the party tonight? Like
Right.
what, like everything at that moment was just like,
So real.
you're an adult. Like it's like there's no more playing around. Like you saw that, like you can't go 2-3 hours back now. Right. So like ever since then, and then realizing like you're white, like I'm not the best at rapping, so then I started making beats. But like ever since that moment, it's been 10 years, and like I've only looked at 10 years. So like something happens today, I'm like, in 10 years it'll be worth it.
That's
so like
exciting.
I never had that mindset before. It was like, when can I get this today, or I want so many subs today. But now it's like, yo, I'm gonna put out 100 videos before I get my first sub. Like that's a different mindset, I guess. And sadly for a lot of us, it takes something so like real to make you be like, man, I need to get my stuff together and light that flame inside of us.
It's man, I have goosebumps listening to you talk about that, and I was actually very, very worried at first when you said you saw your brother on the ladder. I thought maybe you were going to say he did in fact kill himself, and thank goodness that he didn't. But one thing that I've had another episode that kind of went down the same path for a brief moment it was my actual first rapper and hip-hop artist too, Doe Sigapome, and he touched a lot on how certain things that he saw growing up really touched on the same things as you that you just mentioned, and how it was very, very eye-opening and kind of just shook you out of all the BS that you were that you were fulfilling your life with. So I'm very I'm very humbled that you were able to share that story with me, especially, and with everybody listening, because I think it really hits home for a lot of people. Me as a veteran, I've experienced what you went through numerous times, and I can attest to it. I know exactly what you were saying. That's why I got goosebumps, because I felt what you were saying, because I know how real that situation can be. And so, I just want to thank you for sharing that. That went pretty deep. To share that with complete strangers that follow me, or anybody that just randomly links to this podcast offline. So it just means a lot that you put yourself out there and talked about that for everybody. And I want to also point out too, overcoming adversity and challenges. I think that would have been a very easy moment for you to just go back to school and continue your routine of fulfilling your 9-to-5 life and just succumbing to that pressure that you dealt with. And so I think it's really neat to see when people pull out for the better, versus versus the worse. What would you? I'm sorry to cut you off again. What would you say to any?
Can I go on one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like as much as it is kind of like you're putting yourself out there. For me, like if there's one person, like you said, some complete stranger that I've never talked to, like if one person listens to that and they're like this or that and they get different thoughts from it, like that's why like I try to be as transparent. And I see with Instagram and Twitter, like everybody's trying to be the coolest, everybody's trying to be the flyest, and it's like
that's gonna really lose.
The flyest is the transparent, like whoever's the most like, yo, I have this issue or like this, like that's how people connect. I can't connect with no Ferraris, I don't have one yet, but I can connect with depression, bipolar, and like those are the things I connect with. But everybody's skipping those because it's not quote unquote cool, to talk about.
I think that a lot of people are shifting that though. I think entrepreneurs today,
it's going towards the right way.
Yes, I think most entrepreneurs today are over all the kind of like luxurious cars and yachts and watches, all that stuff that like Gary always says too, like stop trying to show millions and millions of dollars, start showing how you did it, because you're misleading people. But it's funny that you said that, because when I cut you off, I was gonna stay on the subject and even tell you, like, since you were so transparent, let's just say, hypothetically, let's say somebody out there that listens to this is going through something like that. What, before they get to that point, before they learn those life lessons that they're going to learn, is there anything that you would want to, like, just tell them?
Obviously, the biggest thing is, like, whatever you're in, that's just, like, a story. Like, that's the biggest thing, is looking back on it, like, in those moments, it never felt like it would be over. Like, it was like, I'm never gonna, be able to not, like, see that exact image over and over again, or I'm never gonna be able to get rid of the feeling. And to a point, like, it always is there, which is not a bad thing, because I think that changes us. But, like, just realize, and I think that self-awareness that, like, this is just a storm, whether it lasts a week, whether it lasts a month, like, that's all it's gonna last. Like, sooner or later, good will come. And I think a lot of people need to get that self-awareness with it to be able to, like, step out, and, like, really realize and see the wounds, instead of just feeling like, I'm so hurt. But it's like, sometimes you just got to step out, because maybe it's only super small, or maybe it is super big, but, like, you'll never see that in the body, like, in your own mind. You have to step out. So I just say, like, take it for what it is, but realize that everything ends and everything starts. Like, nothing's forever.
Definitely. I think that's very good insight. I could agree to that. I'm assuming everything is better now. I mean, maybe not better, but everything is a lot better than it was in that moment for everybody.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's good. That's really refreshing to know. I wasn't sure. I was kind of scared to ask you, but so we have just about 5 minutes left. That was an incredibly quick episode for me, just because of how good of a story it was that you told. I want to let everybody know too, like, these episodes are only 30 minutes long. I did research for myself when I was thinking about the podcast, and research told me that a weekly podcast should be anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes long. Not much shorter, not much longer. And so I know that a lot of feedback I've been getting lately is, can you make these episodes longer? But one thing I want to reassure people of is all these guests that I've had on my show are not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, anywhere, anytime soon. So we will definitely be bringing everybody back for more episodes. So I just wanted to let you know our time, just in case you did have anything else you wanted to put out there, and then we will get to kind of like our wrap up, where we, maybe share some quotes with the followers that we live by and things like that.
I mean, I think I got everything I had out. If like we said, if it helps one person,
What if
as
any?
much as I like to plug myself,
what
it's
if
not
any?
my first thing.
What if anyone out there needs beats? Like, what can we tell them to start looking into your music, and how can they get to you, basically, to maybe start collaborating or working with you on some music?
So, like, yeah, if you're someone that vlogs, for sure check out, like, all my stuff. For beat makers, something that's super easy to do is, like, make vlog music where it's, like, super long, kind of, like, repetitive looped, but it's not looped to the point where it's a song loop. So, like, yeah, if you make vlogs, hit me up for sure. I'm never asking for $1. I'm just looking for that, helping each other out. If you make beats or, like, you're, like, a singer, writer, whatever, more, like, I edit vocals, so like I'm way more than happy to like help and push each other. And for one thing, you can find me on Backpackboybeats.com, but just like Twitter, Instagram, like I'm always very active on there. I pretty much reply to everyone, and I really believe in the collaboration. Like, yes. I just know that collaboration's key.
Collaboration
so saying no.
That's gotten me this far so far. I mean, collaborations are everything for what I'm trying to do right now. And so I'm glad.
Same.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got linked up. I'm glad that I'm following you, because it's inspirational to see you do your thing on Twitter and Instagram and all that, because, man, we're building our troops up, like this circle of networking that we have going on, and it's just exciting. So let me ask you this. Do you have a specific quote that you sort of live by?
So there's definitely been a lot of life quotes that have come and gone with me. I mostly get my life quotes from the Bible, but I have to say my main like quote that I'm going off right now that has been really fueling me is just create more and consume less. And that just like goes for non-content creators as well. Like, just like there is so much out there, but like you gotta be creating more than you're consuming. And that goes back to like football and like anything that's cool to a lot of people. Like, yeah, you can consume it a little bit, but like you should be creating more than you're consuming it. And for me, I rarely consume. I consume like Gary Vee stuff and like minimal people's things.
Yes.
Because then I can create more. And I think a lot of people are consuming so much that it's literally impossible to create more because you're consuming so much. So back off the consuming.
And I think one thing with too much consumption too, and I've noticed the amount of consumption for myself as well has decreased almost to, like, I literally do not look at anybody else's Facebooks, Instagrams, really at all, like, unless I'm working with them or they're creating, like you said. And one thing I want to say to that too is if you do too much consuming, you're going to lose yourself, and that's where you're just going to be down in the dumps. You're not going to feel like it's going to ever get better, like Jordan was saying, and you're going to just be living your life through everything and everyone else that you follow on your phone. And so I'm glad that you touched on that, because it's huge. And most of the people I've had on my show will say the exact same things. They've said, I don't have time to just consume anymore because I'm too busy working on what I'm doing. I want to leave us with another quote. We have a couple more minutes. I just looked this up earlier, and it just really, really was kind of impactful to me. So I had to write it down, but it says, change the changeable, accept the unaccepted, and remove yourself from the unacceptable. And I think that ties into exactly what we were just saying. So,
and who's that by?
I honestly, it was anonymous, so I don't know. Hey, it was by Kyle Hartman. Let's put it that way. On the Kyle Hartman, you heard it first. No, I'll just say it was from Google. I'm not.
Google does have a lot of knowledge.
We're staying transparent as hell here. So, all right.
Always.
Everybody, I'm going to share a lot of stuff this week, next week. From this point on, you're going to hear a lot more from Backpackboybeats. This is a really cool opportunity for me as well, because most of the music that I put on my shows, it's either whoever my guest is that week or it's generic off of the app I use. So I will be actually incorporating a lot more of Jordan's music into my podcast, because it's actually really good music too. So
appreciate that.
Man, it's been the utmost pleasure to have you on my show. We are going to be, today's what, Wednesday?
Yep.
I think, okay, so we're going to put this episode out in probably a day or two. I'm going to edit it, and then we should be out before this weekend. And
awesome.
So, yeah, I just want to take time to thank each and every person that is still listening right now. Just know that if you are listening to us still, you're ready for a change. We know you are. You are seriously ready to take that leap of faith, the next big step in your life, or else you wouldn't be taking time out to listen to what we had to say today. It's just the bottom line. Bottom line.
True.
So go out, tackle your dreams, get a hold of me, get a hold of Jordan, get a hold of anybody we've networked with, because we're all in the same. We all just want to help each other. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Jordan, thanks again, man. This is episode 16 of the Kyle Hartman Project. Listen to this sick beat going off this outro, because this is my boy Jordan right here.
This has been a Backpack Boy production.